Should be all good here. Welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and today I'm going to tell you what went down on Monday Night Raw. As of course, we kicked off the broadcast with Brock Lesnar Brock Lesnar cutting a promo. Well, more say Paul Heyman. On the heels of a shocking attack at the hands of his non-WrestleMania opponent, his now WrestleMania opponent, Femi, Brock Lesnar took to the squared circle to kick off Monday Night Raw. Heyman claimed the overhyped ruler. Femi took advantage of the fact that Lesnar had combated a dozen of masked men, laid him out, and he was defiant in his denouncement of the idea that Femi would be the star to slay the beast, reminding the audience that not even John Cena or AJ Styles could do it. He also mentioned, of course, Jon Moxley in this, of course, too, so that's also what happened. Femi would eventually come out and stood tall, of course, taking Lesnar out of the ring by, throwing him over. Or, well, clotheslining him over. But anyway, I can't wait until these two show down. It's going to be fucking amazing. I cannot wait. But a great way to open the show. Great to be. Not so much of a great match to start the show. The Vision took on the Usos in non-title action, even though I'd claimed last week that they would be in a tag team title match. Well, not in the TD Garden, because that's where we were, in Boston, Massachusetts. The rivalry between the Usos and the Vision wrote the latest chapter on Monday night. The match was fairly standard contest, interrupted by commercial breaks that accumulated with a late match appearance by L.A. Knight. Yeah. Just as Logan Paul and Austin Theory appeared poised to steal the win from Jimmy and Jay, the megastar prevented Paul from utilizing the brass knuckles, only for Jay to pick up the weapon and clock Theory with it, drawing the disqualification. Graded a C+, but still fuming. Uso rocked Paul with it, so I guess they sent a message to them. They're getting a tag team title match in a form of a street fight next week, I guess. So, cool. Becky Lynch cut a promo. Becky Lynch took the square circle to address her attack on AJ Lee. She talked about legitimate, oh my god, I can't say it. Legitimatizing the Women's Intercontinental Championship, only for fans to cheer for AJ Lee over her. Lee would eventually interrupt the proceedings, chasing Lynch out of the ring, only to issue a challenge for WrestleMania for the Women's IC title. So that's what we're getting. Becky versus, and we knew it was coming, so there's no need to show it, but that's a match to be added to that card. And just like that, another marquee match in the women's division added to the biggest card of the year. B. Javon Evans took on Grayson Waller. Not much to say here. It's just a little impromptu. It's just a little match that happened. So Javon Evans continues to roll on a string of success on Monday night. This is where I turned off the show because I didn't like this. Paul Heyman called out Seth Rollins. The wise man returned to the square circle where he addressed the recent issues he had with Seth Rollins. Heyman suggested that Rollins come down to the ring and put him out of his misery, then said a man had to do what a man has to do, as the visionary appeared on the announce table. From there, police officers appeared at ringside and escorted Rollins through the crowd as Heyman revealed he snitched and filed a restraining order against him. Now, here's the thing about the restraining order. I didn't know about the restraining order shit. So, here's how a restraining order works. A restraining order works is that the other person has to be fucking aware of it, of the restraining order. Obviously, Paul Heyman must have pulled some strings here to make it so that the officers don't do their actual jobs, because that's what a restraining order is supposed to do. If you're following a restraining order, the other person has to know about it before it even happens. So, to put this on Rollins is fucking stupid. Anyway, the godfather of Extreme goaded the architect into attacking him, speaking of his wife and daughter. And Rollins did just that. Once he mentioned his daughter, he came running out and attacked fucking Paul Heyman. Only to be brought away in handcuffs. I just didn't like this. I didn't like the idea that Heyman had to resort to fucking, this type of tactic. In a heel, to fucking get him arrested and file a fucking restraining order. I think this is stupid as fuck, but no wonder it's a B-. So it's going to stick like that. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria took on the Kabuki Warriors. Again, not much to really talk about here, but Bailey and Valkyria want those women's tag team titles. So I guess next week in the Madison Square Garden, the titles will be on the line, and I hope they win. So that sets up something, for them. Something to get them on the card. Here's something to talk about, though. Penta took on Dominic Mysterio for the IC Championship. As Dominic entered the arena, Stephanie Vaquera attacked Liv Morgan, and a brawl between the women's world champion and the number one contender broke out and spilled into the Gorilla's position. Back from the break, because they needed to take a break, the battle for the IC Championship took place in the square circle. A rematch pitting Mysterio against Penta. Dirty Dom jumped Penta during Alyssa Taylor's ring introductions, taking the fight to the man who ended his Intercontinental Championship reign. Mysterio controlled a large portion of the match, pushing Penta to the brink of losing his title. But late into the contest, though, he scaled the top rope for a frog splash. But Finn Balor's music played. Da-da, da-da, da-da. The Prince stepped through the curtains. He sent JD McDonough flying into the production area, then watched as Penta rolled up Mysterio for the 1-2-3. Now after the match, Balor was able to attack Mysterio and then fend off McDonough and stood tall to close out the segment, hitting a coup de grace to McDonough, of course. B+. Now, I do have a question for anybody in the comments. You guys want to see this? Ready to see this match? Do you think the title should play an important role into their matchup? Dominic and Finn. Let me know in the comments down below. That is something that I think is a pretty good question to ask. Because my ideas right now is looking at it like, okay, if there's no title that's going to be on the line for Dominic and Finn, right? No title, just one-on-one. Might as well just let him be the Demon at this point. Let Demon Finn took on Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania. But at the same point, I don't think that's a big enough match. Like Femi and Brock Lesnar. Like those are big stars. But Dominic and Finn feels like a backlash match. And here's another idea. If the title is to be the importance of this entire feud, then you need to insert Penta into this feud. And you need to have it be a triple threat match at Mania. Now that's something I can get behind. Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio for the IC Championship. I could get behind that. And I think that match I would do at WrestleMania, but at the same time, I would also probably do that type of match on Raw before WrestleMania. So then we can continue the Dominic and Finn until they stick the landing, because they're still in the air. But so is everything else. B+. I thought this was probably the most entertaining match that you're probably going to see there. And Penta's rocking that IC Championship. I mean, shit. CM Punk and Roman Reigns came face to face. CM Punk hit the ring to close out the show. Another promo, and I'm not surprised. They're playing it safe, and that's exactly what WWE wants to do. They want to play it fucking safe. I'm sick and tired of safe. But this one actually has some action. Punk shrugged off Jimmy Uso's warning to be careful tonight, with Jay on the warpath claiming that not a single Samoan has even looked at him cross since Roman declared open season on him last week. The world champion brought out the OTC, calling him old last week. Brought up the OTC, calling him old last week. Admitted he is not ashamed of his age, and even pledged to fight anyone who stepped to him, including Jey Uso. What is he going to do? Yeet me to death? Jay hit the ring, came face to face with Punk, and threatened to fight. Run it back on your old ass. Jimmy interrupted and told his brother to lock in, especially with the tag titles on the line next week. Jay expressed his frustration with Punk, talking about the family, and then questioned where Roman was. He ain't even here, but I am. Cue the tribal chief. He made his quickest entrance in 5 years and joined the party in the ring. He ordered the Usos to get out of the ring, to which Punk responded by saying the tag champs should stay because Punk could use all their help. A Samoan punch followed, Jay attacked Punk. Punk knocked Jay on his ass. Then Jimmy got into a scuffle with Punk, and then a Superman punch followed. Just to add some key details there. And the referees and producers hit the ring to break things up. Jay ordered Reigns to smash him, to get him, basically. And he did, delivering a spear, a powerbomb through the announce table. And as Reigns made his way around the ring, cameras caught Punk laughing and stating, "I'm not the one who needs help," insinuating that his WrestleMania opponent did exactly what he wanted him to, which is sickening. And it's, I don't know. I'm not the one who needs help. I mean, shit, like, I don't know what Punk's game's here. Like, I don't understand that game here. with Punk. I really don't. But this is graded an A, and we move on to what the final grade of the show was. And this was the first episode of Raw where it felt like WWE Creative made a concentrated effort to heat things up ahead of WrestleMania 42. Just 4 weeks out, not everything hit, but what did was noteworthy and added to the matches and the programs that will accumulate in Las Vegas, of course, in April. There was little wasted time, and the big segments that needed to succeed did. Obafemi, Brock Lesnar tore the house down at the start of the show. AJ Lee, Becky Lynch set their day for WrestleMania, and of course, both Punk and Heyman goaded their enemies into doing exactly what they wanted to do. This was a good show, and with Raw returning to Madison Square Garden next week, you can only hope for it to get better. So for this, I'm gonna take that B minus. I'm gonna take that B plus, and I'm gonna make it a B. I think the show was all right for what it was worth, but it wasn't that good either. Only a few noted moments to catch. If there's anything you guys should catch, it is the Punk and Roman, and I would say the Intercontinental Championship match. Other than that, there's really nothing here for you guys to hook onto. Maybe the opening segment between Brock and Obafemi, but that's water under the bridge. But what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. I'll be back on Saturday, and I'll be back next week, as we are 3 weeks, well, from this week, 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. So I will see you guys later. Peace.